You are worried because you know Islam is coming to your backyard.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله.
Demonstration. Outside White House. Allah says in the Quran, the final revelation, sent to all of mankind, He it is, who has sent the messenger, Muhammad, with the guidance, and deen of truth, to make it victorious, over all other ways of life, even though, the disbelievers, hate it. The recent eruptions of rage, against the dictatorial, and apostate regimes, of the Middle East, appear to have ushered in, a new era, where tyrants, are finally confronted en masse, for their crimes, and deposed from all positions of authority. From Ben Ali, Hosni Mubarak, and now what appears to be, inevitably Muammar Gaddafi, this wave of fury is showing no sign of relenting. The decades of Western-backed oppression that have violated the sanctity of Allah and plundered Muslim resources is coming to an end, and the dawn of a new age is indeed beginning. In light of this, sincere Muslims have come together from different parts of the world to orchestrate an unprecedented event on 3rd March 2011 that will undoubtedly add a new dimension to this intensifying conflict and send shock waves across the world. Preparations are now underway for the Sharia for America project that will, inshallah, God willing, become an unanticipated wild card for the West, galvanizing the immense support for Sharia in the Middle East, and bringing it directly to the doorsteps of the United States of America. We hereby call upon the Muslims in the US, particularly in New York, Michigan, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., to take lessons from their Muslim brothers and sisters in North Africa and the Middle East, and rise to implement the Sharia in America. On 3rd March 2011, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. local time, at Pennsylvania Avenue, outside the White House, the Muslims will let the tyrant, Barack Obama, and the American people know that a new constitution beckons the us, called the Sharia, and that this worldwide revolution will see it implemented, inshallah, God willing, very very soon. The White Masjid. Have you ever wondered what America would look like under Sharia? The ongoing campaign to bring the US, and indeed the entire world, under the authority of Islam, has compelled sincere Muslims to draw up realistic plans for changes that are likely to occur once all obstacles in the way of implementing the Sharia are removed. One of the primary targets for immediate reconstruction in the US is the White House. Originally designed by Irish architect James Hoban, this building holds significant symbolic value in representing centuries of repression under man-made law. Unlike the British burning of Washington, one of the practical proposals for the redevelopment of the White House under Islam will be to see it converted into a flourishing mosque. Mosques, or masjids, are taken to be one of the most important buildings in Islam, acting as places of Islamic worship, centers of learning, places where the ill are treated, and even locations where crucial decisions are made regarding domestic and international government policies. Mosques also act as an opportunity for non-Muslims to learn more about Islam and even embrace this superior way of life. With the absence of the Sharia worldwide, mosques are unfortunately a far cry from their glorious past, and hence the conversion of the White House into one will undoubtedly help restore the iconic status that this building has in the Sharia. The Islamic demolition of the Statue of Liberty. One of the founding principles of the Islamic Constitution is to ensure that all sovereignty and supremacy belongs solely to God. The Sharia is a practical manifestation of this sovereignty and supremacy because it seeks to establish His command in society. The status of a nation, subsequently, does not depend on its number, strength or technological advancement, but rather how much it submits to the commands of God. When a nation seeks to be free from such commands, then ultimately it will meet its destruction. The Statue of Liberty, designed by Frederick Bartholdi, stands on Liberty Island in New York Harbor. Representing Libertas, the Roman, false goddess of freedom, it is symbolic of the rebellious nature of the US Constitution that elevates the command of man over the command of God. In Islam, the public veneration of idols and statues is strictly prohibited. This has forced sincere Muslims to develop realistic plans that will aid in the removal of the Statue of Liberty. Due to the scale of the task at hand, it is highly likely that rigorous safety checks will need to be employed before the demolition of the Statue of Liberty can commence. Thus, as a temporary measure, it is proposed that a large burqa is used to cover the statue, thereby shielding this horrendous eyesore from public view, as well as sending a strong message to its French creators. Post-demolition, it is recommended that a minaret be built as a fitting replacement, allowing the glorification of God to be proclaimed daily, as well as act as a powerful reminder of the superiority of Islam over all other ways of life.
Well, now that Muslim cleric Umjim Chowdhury is planning a protest outside the White House. He's calling on Muslims to establish Sharia law in America. And joining me now from London is Mr. Chowdhury. Good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Now, I understand that you're calling for this protest at the White House on March 3rd. So you're going to come to this country. And what are you going to say at this protest?
Well, first of all, let me thank you for having me on your program. It's always a pleasure to be able to introduce Islam and to talk about this great religion. We are going to, inshallah, invite the Muslims and the non-Muslims in America to talk about Islam as an alternative to the freedom, democracy, and the man-made law that you have at the current time in America.
But I'm not so sure that your definition of Islam is how many members of the Muslim faith who live here in America would describe it. Because you believe in Sharia law, And I'm not so sure that every Muslim in America, in fact, I know for sure they don't all agree with that.
Well, I certainly believe that there is a decline, in fact, in the world today because we don't have the Sharia implemented on state level, and therefore there's no education system to teach people that, in fact, Islam has a solution for all affairs within society. But I think we need to have a healthy discussion about what is the way forward for mankind, whether it's democracy and freedom or whether it's Islam.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Americans don't want Sharia law. So I can tell you one thing. Americans do not want Sharia law, so I'm not sure how successful your protest is going to be or march here. But before you go, I want to find out, do you actually believe that you can get into this country?
Yeah.
Will you be able to fill out the application accurately when you're asked these questions? Because the tourist visa will require you to answer these questions. Have you been involved in acts of terrorism or plan to commit crimes in the United States? How will you answer those questions?
Well, look, I've never been convicted of any criminal offence. I've never been convicted of any terrorist-related offences. I believe that the Muslims in America and indeed in Britain live under a covenant of security. They cannot target the life and the wealth of the people in return for their life and wealth being protected. But, according to your own First Amendment, you have the right to establish your religion. But you see, unlike Christianity, our religion is not confined to the mosque. It should be something which is implemented within society. Therefore, I invite Barack Obama and the American administration and the people to think about Islam as an alternative way of life.
I want people to know a little bit more about you and who you are. Let me give you, for example, the Muslim Brotherhood's motto, which is their motto today: Allah is our objective, the Prophet is our leader, the Quran is our law, jihad is our way, and dying in the way of Allah is our highest hope. Allahu Akbar. Do you agree with that motto?
Yes, I mean, which Muslim would not agree with that? We do believe as Muslims that sovereignty and supremacy belongs to God. In fact, in the world today, there are two camps. One which believes that sovereignty belongs to man, at the head of which, is at the moment probably Barack Obama, and the other one which believes that sovereignty belongs to Allah, to God. And at the head of that, whether we like it or not, is Sheikh Osama bin Laden.
Women are stoned to death in Egypt. Women can't drive under Sharia in Saudi Arabia. You yourself, sir. Let me finish my question. Yeah. You yourself, people who commit adultery should be stoned to death. You said that. You said that Egypt and America one day will be under Sharia law. You said every woman, Muslim or non-Muslim, would have to wear a burqa. Did you not say that, sir?
What I said was, in fact, and what I continue to repeat, is that I do believe that the whole world will one day be governed by the Sharia. That is a promise of the best man who walked the earth, the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Did you or did you not say people who commit adultery should be stoned to death? Did you say that?
That is not my statement, but I believe that.
You believe that every woman, non-Muslim, Muslim woman should wear a burqa. You're a fascist. You want to ram that down people's throats. You want to cut off people's hands. Excuse me, I'm not finished. You want to cut off people's hands that steal. You want to stone people to death if they commit adultery. You want to rob Israel's land, and you're justified. And I believe, although you don't have the courage to admit it because you're a bit of a coward, that you believe that people that killed 3,000 Americans are going to heaven and they're going to get 72 virgins. So don't you see, can you not stand back from your sick, twisted, bizarre ideology here to see that those 3,000 people were innocent victims, sir? Can you not see that?
You know, Mr. Hannity, you have a truth phobia. Whenever I turn the table on you and I talk about the reality, you want to avoid it, you want to talk over me. Your viewers will see through your lies and your propaganda.
My lies, my propaganda.
The Americans are the biggest criminals, in the world today. They are bombing Muslims, they're occupying our land. Yes, I believe in the Sharia. I believe sovereignty belongs to God. And the Sharia will come to America.
And you believe in virgins in heaven, don't you?
It will remove the corruption of democracy and freedom and all of your exploitation. You are worried because you know Islam is coming to your backyard. And you cannot tolerate that.
I'm a non-believer. I'm an infidel. I mean, should I, if I don't convert to Islam, should I die?
No, you can live under the Sharia. Your food
I can live under
and
Sharia.
Will be provided.
Thank you, sir. Please, I thank you so very much.
Your food, clothing, and shelter will be provided, and you will not be exploited, unlike as in America and in Britain and in the Western countries. You will have the basic rights, and of course, you will live as a citizen.
Yeah, well, you're one sick, miserable, evil SOB. But thank you for coming on anyway.